Hello my lovelies, I hope you're all well. Today is going to be a very quick video all about eyebrows. Now I have got so many requests in my inbox of people writing to me asking me how to create the perfect eyebrow or just super quick and easy ways to do their eyebrows in the morning. This is just the way I do them. This is by no means the only way that you can do them, but this is how I fill in my eyebrows, and obviously this is the finished look. So if you want to see how I did this, then just stay tuned. So when it comes to eyebrows, as you can see, my eyebrows are dark because my hair, I am a natural brunette, but because I dye my hair a little bit redder, I do need to shade them in. Also, they can be a little bit patchy. Obviously they're not as dark as my hair and they're more cool toned, so I do like to fill them in and make them even. Now no one has completely two identical eyebrows. I've never seen anyone that has exactly the same eyebrows, so obviously it helps to fill them in, tidy up their shape, but don't worry if they are slightly different. It doesn't really matter. As long as you can get them as equal as possible, they'll really help to frame your face and balance it out. First thing, a bit of housekeeping, of course. If you've never plucked your eyebrows before, if you want to change your shape, I would recommend growing them out and then maybe going to a professional. And once they've been tidied up and you've got the shape that you want, then it's very simple to just, pluck the few strays and keep maintaining them rather than creating a new shape. I know I'm guilty of completely over plucking mine when I was younger, but now I think I'm pretty much happy with the shape that I've got, and it is kind of my natural shape. I don't have to fight against it too much. The few things that I do to maintain that shape is, of course, pluck any stray hairs that grow down here. I would recommend not plucking above the hairline if you can get away with it. Once you've tidied up that shape, it's also quite good to trim them. You don't want to get any wispy hairs. Sometimes they can be too long and stick out at the end, and also when you brush them through they might not give a uniform shape. So normally what I do is just take a spoolie or an old mascara wand, brush them up, and then you can see where the longer hairs stick out and you can give them a little trim. So I normally just go through, hold it like that, and then trim them off, just so you have a nice shape there. And also this makes them look a little bit thicker actually, even though you've taken the edges off. It's kind of like a little trim for your hair, makes your hair look thicker as well. And then if you have problems with a lot of baby hair around here, or maybe blonde hair around here that you don't want to pluck, because sometimes when you pluck the lighter hairs they can grow back darker, I recommend getting one of these little trimmers. And after you've plucked the hairs, you can just go in and trim all in here just to make it really smooth, especially if you like to experiment with your eyeshadow. That gives a really nice smooth base, and it's very quick and easy to do. So once you have the basic shape down, the thing that I do pretty much every day is just fill them in really quickly. For this, of course, you can use a pencil just to make sure to get one a few shades lighter than you would like your eyebrow to look, or if you don't dye your hair, a few shades lighter than your natural hair colour. You don't want to go too dark because it can really age you and look too harsh, especially if your skin is on the pale side. So I would recommend getting something slightly warmer than maybe your natural hair colour, just to give it a slightly richer colour and to fill in. A good one for me and for other brunettes, or maybe someone whose hair is slightly more red based, is this number 7 one. It's called Beautiful Brows Pencil, and this is a brown/black, but it's actually quite a warm coloured brown. What I normally like to do is actually use an eyeshadow because I feel it looks a lot softer. And I just use an angled brush. This is actually an eyeliner brush from MAC. I think it's the 266. And then you can use any kind of brow powders. One I've used a few times recently. I got it in my glossy box. If you watched that review, you'll know that. And this is the HD Brow Palette. It's nice. Just if you change your hair colour, you can have a couple of colours in there and really tailor it to the look that you want. My go-to brow powder is actually an eyeshadow, and it's the NARS Madrag Geo, very old and beaten. As you can see, mine's pretty much done. but it's just a really nice warm toned light brown colour, so it doesn't look too harsh. And then normally I like to start to work just underneath. This is where you want your brows to be the most defined. You don't want to start going in right at the top, because that's not very natural. Normally, you know, your hairs grow up from here, so you'd have almost a natural line here, but the top, it's not quite as uniform, so you want to kind of push the shadow up into that area rather than just creating a really harsh line across the top. So concentrating on the bottom and then just pushing some of that powder through the brows, and then if you have any gaps, obviously fill those in. I like to work with nice short strokes because it mimics the way the brow hairs are, rather than just, you know, a long line that's going to look quite unnatural. And then when you get to the arch of the brow, just tilt your head slightly and work along the top of your brow, just like so. So you want to get a nice line there and then work down. You don't want to go in underneath on this area, because sometimes you'll start filling it in and it'll actually move down, which will not only cut off some of the eye space that you may use for makeup, but also make your brows look droopy a little bit. So actually drawing it in a little bit higher, so you're working just on the skin above where the hairs are, gives you almost like a little eye lift. Really helps to open up the eye as well. So I've just filled those in quite lightly, and then I'm going to brush them through with a little spoolie just to redistribute that powder and make sure everything looks nice and natural. There are no areas that are darker than anything else. And then you want to fix the hairs. One of my favourites is a MAC wax. Mine's actually run out, unfortunately, but this is what the packaging looks like. This is the clear version. They also have a brown or a kind of slightly more grey-black colour. Failing that, you can use a clear mascara or a brow gel. This one's just slightly tinted, and I just brush this through my brows to help them to stay in one place. Especially if you have slightly curly hair in your brows, this is really great to set them to make sure that they stay in that shape throughout the day. If you are doing this in a hurry and you don't have anything to hand, another good thing to use is actually hairspray. You can put a little bit of hairspray on your spoolie and just brush it through your brows, and that will just fix them. Of course, I don't recommend doing that every day because it's not very good for your skin to have sticky hairspray on it, but if you're really in a rush and you know, if you're in a tight spot and you need something. So you can see the difference. That's the one I filled in and not. And you can see, although it does look a lot fuller, it also has a lot more shape and it's a lot more structured without looking too overdone. Now I'm just going to do my other eyebrow and show you the finished look. So here are the finished brows, and as you can see, they still look pretty natural. I'm not sure how well it's showing up on camera, but you know, in day to day, I feel they look pretty natural and they really frame the face, and also really make this area look really clean and lovely, which is great if you're doing makeup. If you're going for a more dramatic look, then one thing I like to do is to just use a flat concealer brush and take a concealer that's quite light for you. So for me, this would be something along the lines of the creamy concealer from Bobbi Brown in Warm Ivory. So you can just get a little bit of that concealer, and if you want the edge to be very distinct, you just draw it right underneath. You want to keep it pretty light, so not too much, and then just blend it in a straight line right underneath that eyebrow. So if you have any stray hairs, or you know, you haven't plucked in a while and you don't have time, especially if you have sensitive skin that can flare up really quickly. Like I always have to pluck my eyebrows at night, because if I see hairs in the morning and I pluck them, my skin will look red for quite a while afterwards. So this is a great way of also hiding it, as well as giving a very polished brow look. Just like that, and then you can do a little bit on top as well. See that white line? Just blend that down gently. And you know, you can tell the difference between these two. This looks much neater here at the bottom. So it's a great look if you're doing some kind of special makeup, or for a special occasion you want to look extra polished and perfect. So I hope that helped you guys. So many of you requested this video on eyebrows. I have an older one, but obviously the camera quality wasn't great. So I really hope that this helps you and you get some useful tips. This isn't by any means a complicated way or the only way to do it. This is just the way I do it every morning, and it takes me less than a minute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all soon. Lots of love. Bye.